Hello guys, I'm Foxy. Not everyone knows, but when you start a new server in a township tale, a lot of structures and smaller things need to be built. I'm going to show you everything that needs to be built and what you need for it. Due to the significant amount of material, everything will be put into 3 videos. This is the second part. Carpentry scales. For each object, I'm going to show you the way. Here, we need to build the scales to know the weight of the things. We need 10 copper ingots and 10 iron ingots for it. Copper can be found at the quarry, but since we also need iron, I will go to the mines. Mines are very dark, very dangerous and require some preparation. The main problem is the darkness, so you will need a source of light. I recommend finding a lantern. It can be found in the chests around the world, for example at the dust bowl or at the mine's entrance. Lanterns need fuel, and coal is the thing you need. Some coal will be right at the mine's entrance. A lot of coal can be found at the quarry and down the mines. As you can see, you also need a mining tool. This pickaxe was found right at the mine's entrance. You need to put the fuel in your lantern and ignite it. Then we need to clear the path. And enter the darkness. Starting here, the darkness will become your world. Down the stairs. And down here is the first level of the mines. There are no enemies on the first level, so you can just become familiar with the environment. Here is copper, and coal. And eventually you will find a path downwards. The deeper you go, the more rare metals you will find. And here starts the real mines. Turabadas! They will be your first source of the rare metals, but in a very low quantity. Also, it is worth mentioning that in the boxes and in the chests you will find pages for the recipe books. Make sure to collect them. Sometimes you are going to meet other Turabada variants, like this copper one. They can be much stronger than the usual ones. At times, looking for the way down, you will find the walls that block the way. Blow them up with fireworks or dynamite. Sometimes you can find diggable objects that can provide valuable resources. If you dig geode, it can be opened with a hammer and a chisel. Going deeper and deeper before encountering iron ore, you will find gold. You will need it later, so be sure also to mine it. Around level 10 of the mines, you will find the crystal caverns. These are the levels covered with glowing crystals. Apart from the fact that the darkness is not that dark anymore, you can mine blue crystals. By breaking such a crystal, you can find crystal gems and crystal shards. We will need them later. Occasionally, you will see fights of worms and turabades, and even take part in them. Don't walk past the big crystals. By breaking them, you will get gems, shards, and pretty powerful but fragile crystal weapons. Before fighting iron ore veins, you will encounter iron turabades. And finally, iron veins. But it's not enough to collect some ore. You need to turn them into ingots. For one ingot, you will need 3 ore pieces. First, you put some fuel into the smelter, then put some ore in and close the hatchet. If the fire sign is on, everything's working. On the other side of the smelter, metal ingots are being produced. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. Carpentry deconstructor.
Nope.
Here, we need to build 2 deconstructors that will allow players to disassemble weapons and tools. For it, we need 24 copper and 5 iron ingots. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. Tavern barrel. Here we need to build a second barrel that can hold up to 30 portions of any liquid. For it, we need 50 oak log wedges and 5 iron ingots. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. Assembly deck. Here we need to build a couple of assembly decks to craft backpacks and different accessories. For it we need 5 iron ingots and 25 oak log wedges. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. Backpack hooks. Here we need to build 2 backpack hooks, which allow players to attach and deattach backpack accessories. For it, we need 20 iron ingots. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. Crafting house scales. Here we need to build scales to know the weight of the things. For it, we need 10 copper ingots and 10 iron ingots. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. Dust bowl stairs. Here we need to build the stairs to get access to the rest of the dust bowl. For it we need 200 birch log wedges, 20 gold ingots, and 20 dry grass clamps. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. First woodcutter shrine stairs. Here we need to build the first set of stairs to the woodcutter's shrine. For it we need 150 birch log wedges, 25 dry grass clumps, and 5 iron ingots. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. Dismelter. Here we need to build a desmelter that allows players to recycle metal items into metal ingots. For it we need 50 iron ingots and 30 coal pieces. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. Mold racks. Here we need to build 5 sets of mold racks that can hold molds. First and second require 50 oak log wedges, 15 copper ingots, and 25 glass clamps each. Third and fourth require 50 oak log wedges, 15 iron ingots, and 25 glass clamps each. Fifth requires 50 oak log wedges, 15 gold ingots, and 25 grass clamps. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. Blacksmith deconstructor. Here we need to build 2 deconstructors that will allow players to disassemble weapons and tools. For it we need 25 copper and 5 iron ingots. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. Blacksmith scales. Here we need to build scales to know the weight of the things. For it we need 10 copper ingots and 10 iron ingots. When you have all the needed materials, just throw them into the box. That's all I wanted to show you today. If the video was fun or helpful, please press like and subscribe. You can find more videos about the Township Tale on my channel. Anything to add or ask, welcome to the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye!